Greetings, guys. So this is Mexico. All right, this is what you call a privada in Mexico, which is a private community. And I'm gonna start doing these YouTube videos because you have to find something to do when you're down here in Mexico. So this is a privada where I live. Very beautiful, very quiet, very serene. Reminds me of, you know, the 1960s where kids can ride their bikes at 10 o'clock at night. Kids actually ride their bikes at 10 o'clock at night here because you do have security. You can't get into this neighborhood if you don't live here, or if you are not been assigned by someone. So this is Mexico, believe it or not. So let's get to the video. Being my first week here in Mexico, I'll probably tell you what part of Mexico I'm in later on. If you live here, then you know. But it's beautiful here. Cost of living in this part is almost kind of similar to the United States, but still not so expensive. And it's great. So this is my first weekend. What do I think? So this part of Mexico, I'm in the Yucatan. If you're familiar with Tampa, Florida, or the South, it reminds me of the South, really. The weather is very humid. It is doable. You just have to, know how to ration out your air conditioning. You don't want to run the air conditioner all day because what it will do is it will be very, very costly. Oh, thank you. And one of the things I like about Mexico is the people here yield very much. They're very kind. And me being black in Mexico, I haven't had any issues. There's been a lot of things talking about, how, Mexicans are racist and, if you go down to Mexico, you're going to experience racism. Well, in the Yucatan here, I haven't experienced any of that stuff. Everywhere I go, people greet you. It's a different spirit here, so, people are very, very kind. They're not disrespectful. I'm trying to keep people out of the view of the camera. Yeah. Buenos dias. Yeah, everybody's very, very kind. So it's different. It's different. And where I'm going here is, I just left the Privada and I'm actually going on a main road. Now, once you leave the Privadas, yes, it does look like, the Mexico you heard about. But the people are very kind. There's zero to no crime. No crime activity, no cartel activity, no drug dealing, no gang banging, no crackheads, no degeneracy, no home. I haven't seen any homeless out here, surprisingly. No homeless here. And it's been very good. I'm going to tell you something. My first 30 minutes of getting out of the airport, my kids were complimented on their hair. Like when people here, they will stare at you, but it's not as a disrespectful stare as into how it is in the United States. Here, it's more of a curiosity, you're like a star because you're different, and being black here is really rare. I probably maybe seen only maybe 3 or 4 other, black people here. And surprisingly, in my Privada, there's a family that actually, buenos dias. There's actually a black family that, lives in my Privada. And they were happy to see us. We were happy to see them. But I like it. I like Mexico. It's different. You have to get used to the pesos. We're going to talk about moving forward where to transfer your dollars into pesos. We're going to talk about where to shop at that's most cost effective if you're going to be in a Yucatan. So yeah. I am in Merida, so yeah, I might as well tell you, I am in Merida. And Merida's great. Merida's great. It's beautiful. It gets very humid. Now, every single day, I think this is like what you call somewhat the rain season. Every single day in the rain season, at around 1 or 3 o'clock, a really good strong rain passes through, right? And it's like torrential rains, but then it goes away. It looks like this all over again. So that's another thing to be prepared for. Depending on where you're moving to, There's a lot of startup costs, well, not startup costs, but startup expenses that you have to be aware of, right? And so we're going to go through a whole bunch of different things that you're going to have to be aware of as far as starting up and what it takes to, hola, buenos dias, and what it takes to actually be, successful and get on your feet here in Merida. I want to give a shout out to Moving Abroad and Thrive, Cartes Ross. He was very, very instrumental in helping me get set up out here because I was like, being black, being in Mexico, I don't know if that's going to work out. But I was really motivated by him, and he made the move, and he did it. And so this is like the main street. Well, this is not the main street. This is a street that leads to the main street. As you can see, there's houses. You see different stores. Yes, it does look like, typical Mexico that you would think, but very peaceful. No gangs, no drugs, excuse the dogs. No gangs, no drugs, no degeneracy, no fighting. I haven't seen it. I haven't even seen one argument here. I haven't seen anybody being, loud or acting disorderly because this state prides itself in security. This is probably the safest area in the Western Hemisphere, Merida, Mexico. So it's definitely, worth it. If you're black and you're wondering, should I move to Mexico? What I could see as one of the main challenges is the language. So if you don't know the language, it will be a challenge for you. Luckily for me, I have somebody who speaks Spanish. But if you don't know the language, it would definitely be a challenge for you, especially getting around, getting your cell phone connected if you're going to change service providers or whatever. Getting your internet, your cable, hiring a fumigator, hiring a pool guy, all that stuff. It will be a challenge. So this is the main road that and it's actually pretty, it has a southern feel. Like if you've been through the South, if you lived in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, northern Florida, this is what it feels like. It feels like the South. It feels like Tampa to me. And so I've already made friends with a couple of people on this main road and their businesses. And it's dope. I like it. And you would too. But you have to make the jump. Now, it's going to cost you in the beginning, getting set up, getting your stuff moved down here. Places are very, very affordable. There's places around here for as cheap as $400 a month. All right. And that's down here. And these places are pretty decent, if you're looking to invest in property, you can definitely do a good investment. Yeah, there's whole houses, mansion-like houses, for about $100,000 to maybe about $200,000. Mansions. The place where I stay at, I would never be able to have that kind of place in Los Angeles. I used to have a cleaning business, and the place where I live at is actually like the same standards as some of the places in Beverly Hills and Hollywood Hills. And just giving you a show of the land. And this reminds you of the South. Reminds me of the South. It has the same temperature, atmosphere, has the same feel to it. People talk to each other. People greet you. You got motor taxis. This is kind of like a motor taxi here that you're going to see. Where people get around and stuff like that. So it's actually pretty interesting. Things are different here. It may take a day or two to adjust to, but you'll definitely get adjusted to it. And so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to keep people out of the camera. I don't want to get people on here. It will take a little bit of adjusting to. Driving here. So to drive here, if you have a United States driver's license, you're good to go. Here, I was told that they only do written tests. They don't do road tests like we do in the United States. So, that will be something. So a lot of these people who are driving I've never done a road test. They just done like a written book test, and that's all you need to go. Now, if you have a United States driver's license, you're good to go. They're not even gonna give you any problems. And so those are buses right there. Those buses right there. They're vans that come pick people up. They're part of the transit authority out here. And so I like it. I like it. No problems. Nobody gives me weird looks, and if they do stare at me, it's because they're curious. They're like, wow, black people are rare out here. We are rare, but very respected out here. People respect us. They're very kind. They're very accommodating. And so, it's a good deal. So if you're thinking about coming to Merida, that would be a definitely good choice because number one, the people are kind and respectful. They actually talk to you. They greet you in the streets, unlike America to where nobody talks to each other. Unlike America to where you don't even know your neighbors. Now, this is some graffiti art here. Now, it's not representative of like the neighborhood. It's probably just people wanting to be artistic because we don't have degeneracy here. There is no degeneracy here. This is like the only graffiti I've seen in probably the whole city is right here. But other than that, there's no degeneracy here. There's nobody lingering and hanging out, no loitering. And I think it's amazing. But as I was saying before, I'm going back down the main road into the providers. So I haven't really seen a rich or a poor side of town. With these providers is pretty much like the people who have money sort of just sectioned off a piece of land and built on it within this community. And the people here are very content. They're very happy. I haven't seen anybody disgruntled here. And another thing I noticed is that even the people who work at McDonald's seem very professional. We went to the mall the other day and we went to McDonald's. We went to a bunch of different stores. And even though some of these are low paying jobs, the people here are shaven. They're kempt. They, pretty much have like an aura like they're working for a corporation. And they act and they speak as if they're working for a corporation. And this is McDonald's. And so everybody here seems to have class. I haven't seen any classless, people here. They all seem like these dogs hit me all the time. I think they're excited to see me. But the people here seem as if they're all educated, even though they may not be. They seem like they have some sort of manners, education, stuff like that. And, tomorrow we'll probably venture out more and see more of the city. But yeah, I've been here a full week amongst the people within the city. I like it, I like it. Even dogs here have sense. Look at this dog here. Even he has sense here. Even he has, manners. So these are other providers. So pretty much these providers are compounds that people with money, have, sectioned off to live in. And it's, protected by security. And so, yeah, I don't have any money. So, don't try to find where I'm at. I don't have any money. But yeah, if you're on a fixed income and you're looking for a place to where your money will stretch, you want to leave America, call Moving Abroad and Thrive with Cortez Ross. He'll help you get set up. He'll be there with you every step of the way. It's definitely a great investment if you're in America and you're faced with bills and you don't know how you're going to survive the rest of the year and bills are climbing. Groceries, cost of groceries are climbing. Car insurances, car payments, car notes. If you're, on, retirement or, you're on Social Security or whatever, come to Merida where you can live good. You can live good. Now, depending on your income, that'll determine, somewhat where you live in the city. And I'll say this, even the sections of the cities that look poor are filled with kind, caring people who will look after you. Once they get to know you, they'll look after you. And these are stories I'm hearing from other expats. They'll take care of you. They'll look after you. You can run tabs here. We haven't heard that in America in a long time to where you can run a tab. They know you don't have the money. hey, come back and give it to us whenever you got it. So this is like America 50 years ago. Well, in the good sense of where people, pretty much, had a community. And here, all our neighbors, they know each other. Our neighbors know each other. We all talk to each other. We greet each other. Their kids will come over. My kids will go over. It's a community feel. It's something we lost, in America. Something we haven't had in America for years. And so these are other providers here, which is beautiful. These places are beautiful. And if you're looking for a beautiful place to live in Mexico, Merida is definitely a place. People come out. And you know what's really interesting? People will come out and work out at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning here. They'll either work out at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning or early, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, because during the day it gets so humid, so it's just like the South. It's just like, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, etc. And if you're former military, you'll definitely have no problem. If you're a veteran, you'll see this place like another deployment. How when you're on a barracks, everything looks, pretty much American. But once you leave post, then you see the real country you're in. If you've been deployed to like, or stationed in like, Korea or Japan or wherever, it has that feel, because I'm former military, so it has that feel. But I like it, man. I like it. I like it. I like it. People will stare, but it's out of like curiosity or admiration, and, the women always smile. So if you're out there looking for somebody, I'm sure you'll find somebody here. So yeah, so that's the video for right now. Tomorrow, I'll probably talk about something different. Maybe, what it costs to set up. What costs and, things you have to look at and look towards, and, whether or not you should pay somebody to, be like a guide, like, Moving Abroad and Thrived, is a company that, we hired to help us accommodate us, in our move. And I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it because what you don't want to do is be out here all by yourself with nobody to call. Say that you have to go to see a doctor. Which doctor should you go to? Which one is, the most affordable? What place is more affordable for your groceries? Uber rides. There's people that are cheaper. There's ride services that are way cheaper than, Uber or what have you. There's a whole network of things here that, you could definitely take advantage of, but you got to know where it's at, and to know where it's at, either you're gonna pay through experience to where you're gonna say, I shouldn't have chose that, I should have chose this, or you can hire somebody who can says, look, here's the A to Z on what you need to set up. Do this, do this, do this, don't do this. There's specifics that you have to, I'm gonna turn around. There's specifics that you have to know. That, for instance, it gets here so humid that you might want to run your AC all day at a very, 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 high, number, or a low number here, because everything here is Celsius. And the thing is, you'll get a bill 2 months later for like $600. When if you only run your AC at, certain times and certain periods at a certain number, it will massively reduce that bill. So that kind of education, is either you pay it now or you pay it later. Right? So, yes, this is it. This is the ordinal. I'm definitely gonna be doing more videos. These houses are beautiful, very beautiful. And yeah, we'll be chatting it up. I'll definitely be, talking about more things in the time to come. But if you're black or you're American and you're thinking about making a move to Mexico, will I be received? Will I be okay? Will I be, safe? Yes, this part of Mexico, you will be received. You will be accepted. You will be safe. And we will talk in the next one.